If he's telling you not to go somewhere for a reason, or he's telling you not to wear something for a reason, don't you think he has a reason as to why he's telling you that?
So I agree. However, on the flip side, there are some controlling men, and I'm not saying it's men, it's women. So I'm not putting it on one side. The same thing with men and women. So I think that
if your man is responsible for you, he should have control over you. He should have authority over you if that's your man. We're not talking about some random ass nigga. We're talking about the nigga you want, that you did what you need to do for him to choose you.
I think an emotionally dysregulated person is oftentimes what people are referring to, right? Like, so when people say somebody's emotional, everyone is emotional and people accept emotions when appropriate. So if you're at a graduation and you see a man cry because he's proud of his daughter, no one's going to say, you're being emotional. Nobody's going to run up to them and say, stop crying, be a man, because that's an accepted place for a person to have emotions. If you're in a hospital and you're in ICU and people are getting bad news, no one's running in and out of the hospital telling men not to cry. Nobody's doing that, right? So when you talk about like people saying overly emotional, what they're referring to is misplaced or inconvenient displays of emotion. So when they either don't think it should be there or they're not ready to handle it, which oftentimes is subjective and it's a projection of what that person's threshold is. Because there's certain people, they can't deal with any emotion. Then there's other people they can. So they're going to call people overly emotional because they can deal with it, while there's others who can't. So I do think it's a little bit subjective and up in the air. It's a little bit ambiguous.
I agree. And then also when it impedes your ability to be able to respond in a healthy way. I think that's like, if you're so emotional, dysregulated, where it's causing harm, it's causing, other people to be dysregulated, or it comes with a consequence. I think that a negative consequence. I think that's when it's too much.
I mean,
I don't know if you remember the story that I told you about a year ago that I went to this funeral where this like a 20-year-old boy got killed, and his parents was there, right? And his father was like maybe 5'7", but this man was a giant. The way he was carrying his whole family, like the stoicism and just the way he was moving through the crowd, you could tell everybody in that family was resting on him and dependent on him to be strong for them and to keep it all together. If he would have like fell down and been crying and just being a woe is me, I think that would be like detrimental to his family. I'm sure at some point he went and dealt with whatever sadness he was feeling, but the way he had to show up for his family in that moment is kind of how you kind of want to train your young men to show up so that they understand kind of like they role within the family, as opposed to just whining and being overly emotional. Because the odds are we don't got nobody that we could go to and whine that's going, you gonna have to be the one to fix that shit, bro. People gonna come to you with it and you gotta fix it. It just is what it is. We gotta do something.
What is that? Healthy?
We gotta get Lakeisha in there.
Oh, sorry.
That shit is what it is. Maybe you go to therapy or something, but as far as running around whining and being like overly emotional and my day is ruined because Starbucks, we can't do that. Like that, ain't nobody gonna respect a man that's moving out here like that. That shit.
So I know the main. I know the question was, I was coming from somewhere, but was about red flags. But it seems like the main one right now that we're focusing on is emotional instability. Obviously, what causes whoever to act, men or women, because I don't want to play sides. But I think that's the main red flag. But for me, I have kind of written these things down, and y'all can, chime in. But another red flag to me is control disguised as care. Like, I've been in a relationship where it was like, I don't like what you're wearing. And then that went from I don't like what you're wearing to don't wear it to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing.
What's the next thing?
I'm just, what I'm saying? Like, just control versus.
Okay.
Don't go there. Don't go there with them. I don't want you with those people. I don't want you here out at this time.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you got a tracker on the car. They ain't never had.
Don't shoot the messenger, right? But if he's telling you not to go somewhere for a reason, or he's telling you not to wear something for a reason, don't you think he has a reason as to why he's telling you that?
So I agree. However, on the flip side, there are some controlling men, and I'm not saying it's men, it's women. So I'm not putting it on one side. The same thing with men and women. So I think that
if your man is responsible for you, he should have control over you. He should have authority over you if that's your man. We're not talking about some random ass nigga. We're talking about the nigga you want, that you did what you need to do for him to choose you. Like, why would you not want that man to have?
There's never red flags with men. I know what you're saying, Willie, but there are some men out there that are controlling, or women. So I don't think that every man deserves the right to tell you, you wear this, you wear that. Every guy,
any man you choose as your man has that right, because you chose him as your man. That's what comes with it.
But what are you talking about? Just be realistic real quick. Can I just say something about that?
So, yeah, go ahead, and then the troop jump in right after that, please.
Okay, so there are different levels of what people are okay and not okay with, and I'll just use that as an example. I was in a relationship where he never said anything. We never had any of those issues about what I would wear or anything like that, and I always was very respectful with what I would wear because I know I'm a representation of him. However, I was in another relationship where he didn't even want me wearing a bathing suit at a beach, and is that realistic? Like, these are some things. So things, it could be very almost like misconstrued. He didn't want any skin to show. It's not realistic. Like, I'm not covered, I'm not Muslim and covered. So I think that I hear what you're saying. I would respect him, but it was almost like there's a level of control that's just not realistic in a sense.
I mean, you done been to the beach before. Like, you don't need to go to more beaches, right? Like, what a beach look like. It's sand and water, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just poking at you, Jay.
Oh,
I was joking with the bear doll. That's the name of your podcast, right? That's what I say.
Bear doll, baby. That's not necessarily me, y'all. I'm just saying that was just one that I wrote down. Control, disguise as fear. I wrote down how they handle conflict. I think y'all kind of talked a little bit about that. Like, when people shut down or explode. I was married, and I never had a argument per se with my ex-husband, but when the moment he punched a hole in the wall, I was like, oh no, it was shocking. And he said that he only did that because he felt like at the moment he had no more control over the situation. That was his excuse. And then he wrote a letter and all that, but I'm divorced now. But I was just saying, like, stuff like that is another red flag. How do they control, handle conflict? Do they shut down? Do they explode? Do you feel safe expressing yourself, men or women? Go ahead, True.
You laying down some solid stuff, Lakeisha. I think sometimes women want men to be women. A lot of times what I hear is that you guys don't really allow us, and I say allow loosely, to express ourselves in our full range of whatever that looks like. And that could be a lot of variables, to you not being raised by your father, to you not seeing what actual healthy masculinity looks like, whatever your lack of experience or exposure may be. I think a lot of times, depending on how old the woman is, her experience with men is usually through a tube, like a TV. She don't really understand the full range of what comes with being man. And then on the flip side, I think some men are not good at also knowing how to express oneself and also explain to her how he's feeling, how he's thinking. A lot of times what I typically see, we're talking about a healthy man. Healthy men warn. And what I mean by warn is that they instruct, they talk, they express. A lot of times, a lot of women don't listen, and they miss, or they don't do a further deep dive of what he refers to. Sometimes they hear something like, I'm just going to poke at Jay, and I don't want you wearing that to the beach. And then instead of maybe being like, well, why? Like, and having civil discourse, it becomes this, well, I'm grown, you can't tell me what to do. I pay my own bills and all that nonsense. And I just think a lot of people.
Just to clarify really quick, because it was I'm not wearing like thong bathing suits and stuff like that. I wear a one piece, I'm a little thick, a little bubby, so I'm very like respectful of what I wear, right? And it wasn't until we were going on a trip and it was like, oh, what are you wearing? what are you going to wear as a cover up? I'm like, oh, I have cover ups. And it was like, well, yeah, but did they go all the way down to your wrist and all the way down to your ankles? Like, so I'm just saying, y'all trying to come at me in the chat here.
No, Jay, but real quick, Jay, like my girl, she got nice shape, and we was at the she put like a one piece on because we was at a family pool, not in the family, but we was at a Lifetime pool. And I'm like, I'm just looking at like, you still look good. Like, I don't even know if that Joan is like, it was a one piece, and I'm like, I don't know, I like the way that looks.
So the beach, though, that's what I'm saying. We didn't even get there. This is like in prep. We didn't even get to the beach yet.
I think though that you do a better job, and I'm saying women, you would do a better job of figuring out what that man's tolerance level may be. Control may be a thing. That may be. I don't know him. I'm just speaking again in general. When you're in a relationship, there is a certain level of flexibility, I believe, that you have to consider. That's the same even on our end. There's certain things that, not myself personally, but I know dudes, they may smoke cigars or may drink a certain way. I think that the way you move, you got to be considerate. It's just plain consideration. So if you're going to throw something on your body, and I know like we going somewhere, it may be wise to be like, hey, how you feel about this? Would you think this look good on me? Like my lady shows me all her outfits, especially if you're trying to put it together. Not like I'm gonna be like, don't wear that, don't do that. But I think she actually does care about how she looks, how she's presenting as an individual, as well as being in a relationship. And I just think that's respectful.
So I think that I'm just saying these could be considered red flags. I'm like, Jay, let me straighten this all out. Golly. I'm just saying what could be considered red flags by some of the vast majority. I also wrote down the whole love bombing thing. That always comes up mainly with women. Well, no, I'm gonna say both, but mainly, the love bombing where, all the constant gifts and constant affirmations and constant everything. Some people can view that as a red flag because then you're rushed into a relationship with those people per se. So what do y'all think about the love bombing?
No, love bombing is a red flag.
Oh, go ahead, Mont. Sorry.
No, I think love bombing is a red flag.
Yeah.
But you're saying love bombing, you're saying as far as like buying new things and affirmations,
yeah.
and then what?
Like those guys that they just leave with their money.
Yeah, he's trying to buy you.
Yeah, you pull up to a date.
Where they at?
He got flowers, he got you this, he got you that, and it's like, yo, I just met you the other day. That's a red flag.